Good afternoon, everyone. So, our topic for today is the global governance. So, before we start, let's define what is global governance. According to WISE, global governance is a collective effort to identify, understand, and address worldwide problems that go beyond the problem-solving capacities of states. So today, a gross disconnect is apparent between the nature of a growing number of contested global problems. In example, the climate change, the proliferation of weapons of mass destructions, the terrorism and mass atrocities, financial volatilities, cyber threats, transnational crime, and pandemics, and the political structures for international problem-solving and decision-making. This is because of the traditional and age-old political structures which have been in existence for centuries. And now, let's move to the uncertainty of the sovereign territorial state or nation-state. Since the end of the Cold War, the world is heading toward a less centralized form of governance. As the United States is facing serious setbacks in the wars, Iraq and Afghanistan, many emerging powers such as China, Russia, and Brazil had formed regional alliances to create a multipolar and anti-hegemonic order. This development is being referred to as the beginning of the post-American world, in which the United States retreats and the rest of the world advances economic power and political influence by Zakaria 2008. And however, after centuries of serving as an example to most, if not as sovereign countries, this kind of state is entering a phase of uncertainty. As review, the notion of nation-state has the following elements. A. Continuous and broken territory. B. Sovereign country. C. The state has the monopoly both of law and of the powers of coercion. D. The national state rules its citizens or subjects directly and not through intermediate authorities. And for fifth, this letter E, direct government and administrations of inhabitants by the central authorities of the nation-state. F, the state is considered to represent the people and the people serves as a source of sovereignty or at least give the state legitimacy. And G, the citizenry was or ought to form a homogeneous population by Hobsbawm, 1996.
However, the rigidity interposed by this age-old kind of setup has been disregarded several times in worldwide events. This integration of the Soviet Union, right of transnational entities within state global problems, requiring global action. Nowadays, the state powers and functions have been undermined by supranational and infranational force, as well as what can be described as the withdrawal of its inhabitants from citizenship. This supranational force have weakened the state in three ways. Number one, the creation of a supranational economy wherein the transactions are largely uncontrolled by state, resulting to the restriction of state to direct national economies. Number two, rise of regional of global institutions such as European Union, Asia, UN, to which individual countries differ either because they are too small to engage in effective competition, international competition, because the economies are so weak. 3. Territorial borders have been made largely irrelevant by technological revolution in transport and communications. And now, let's move to the rise of non-state actors. The rise of non-state actors in public and private sectors has led to a surge in international organizations with higher objectives for global governments and improving lives. This has created new landscape and architectures, including multi-sector partnership and transnational business, enabling more efficient action than nation or state bureaucracies crisis. The rise of non-state actors has broadened the range of potential partners and stakeholders, moving away from the state-centric model of traditional international relations. This has led to an era of global partnership between private and public entities of specific issues. The G20 and a new framework for global cooperation. As treated above, in a globally integrated world economy, the need for global collective action and stability is almost universally recognized. The proposed new framework for global economic cooperation with a complete and accountable coordination body, the G20 Plus, and connected to a representative global system, the UN aims to preserve global economy stability and to ensure that the global economy continues to grow inclusively to benefit and all actions and peoples equitable. The core function, structure, membership, and ties to the UN and of the G20 Plus within the wider new framework for global economic cooperation includes the following integral functions. 1. Facilitate multi-stakeholder, cross-disciplinary dialogue and policy solutions. 2. Promote inclusive economic reform. 3. Enable global economic crisis response.
And now, let's move to the United Nations. The United Nations is a crucial non-state actor, an international government organization or IGO that plays a vital role in the world's affairs by facilitating the enforcement of international law, security, human rights, economic development, and social progress for all countries. There are 5 branches of United Nations. First, number 1, the UN General Assembly is the main decision-making and representative assembly and is responsible for upholding the principles of the UN through its policies and recommendations. It is composed of all member states and headed by a president elected by the member states. Number 2, the UN Security Council can authorize the deployment of UN member states, militaries, and can mandate a ceasefire during conflicts and can enforce penalties on the countries if they do not comply with given mandates. It is composed of 5 permanent members and 10 rotating members. And number 3, the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice settles according to international law, legal disputes between states and give opinions, mostly advisory, on legal questions brought to it by UN organs and agencies. Number 4, the Economic and Social Councils. The Economic and Social Councils assist the UN General Assembly in promoting economic and social development as well as cooperation of member states. And lastly, number 5, the Secretariat. The Secretariat, headed by the Secretary General, provides studies, information, and other dates when needed by the other UN branches for their meeting.
To summary, global governance is the capacity within the international system of any given movement to provide government-like service and public goods in the absence of world government. This kind of government shifted from the traditional territorial several state of non-state or non-state nation-state to a more loose and less stringent structure warranting international cooperation, movement, and response. In response, several non-state bodies come about, including the United Nations of the G20 Plus, all with ultimate goals of international action.
That would be all, and thank you for listening.